All right, joining us now for a closer look at the top storylines coming out of South Carolina, host of Newsmax Prime, J.D. Hayworth, and Steve Malzberg, host of the Steve Malzberg Show. All right, guys, let's get started. Donald Trump expected to win pretty big tonight. We've heard these comments, what he said last night about these bullets dipped in pig's blood. Also that tweet today talking about President Obama attending that funeral if it were held in a mosque. Steve, this is clearly an attempt by Trump to reach the core of his voters and get them out to the polls. Don't you think so?
I think it's brilliant. I think it's true. If this were a Muslim judge, Barack Obama would be there every step of the way. It's absolutely true. And as far as the bullets, he's not the first person who has said, let's show these terrorists that, when we kill them, we violate them in such a way as to infect them so that they know they're not going to go to heaven according to their own religion. I see nothing wrong with what Donald Trump said, and it probably will get a lot of people motivated to go vote for him.
Yeah, I'm seeing some, I don't know if they're official exit polls, but 3/4 of South Carolina Republican voters apparently support Trump's plan to ban Muslims coming in this country. JD, if Donald Trump does win by more than 10 points tonight, how much closer is he to sewing up the nomination?
Well, if he wins in a big way, and you put it at 10 percentage points, obviously he stands poised to run the table because politics, as George Herbert Walker Bush said way back in 1980, it's all about the big momentum. And if Donald Trump is able to pull this off tonight, then he does set himself up very nicely. But we always have to issue the caveat that politics can turn on a dime, but Trump has been gifted with making some interesting enemies, or at least having dust-ups with people like the Pope, and it has certainly helped him this week. I think it probably rallied some evangelical voters who might have gone to Ted Cruz, probably rallied them to Donald Trump.
Well, Steve, who needs second place?
You know what, guys? Yeah.
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was, as JD knows, I'm sure it was the Pope who made the statement first. But if Donald Trump could win, even by 5 or 6 or more than 5 in South Carolina, where the Bushes have done so very, very well in the past, and he, at the South Carolina debate, said something that angered the heck out of me, trashing George W. Bush, accusing him of lying us into the war in Iraq. If he could get away with that there, and go on to win a significant victory, as I said, 5, 6, 7 points, then he is truly Teflon Don. Nothing will stop him.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there. Who needs second place more tonight, Steve, Rubio or Ted Cruz?
Rubio. Ted Cruz would be a shock if he didn't get second, but, Rubio stood there on that stage with the governor, Nikki Haley, and Tim Scott, and wow, the Republican Party. Look at the minorities on that stage compared to the 2 old white people running for the presidency on the Democrat side. But no, I think Rubio really, it would be a real shot in the arm for him. And if he finished a strong third, that would also be okay. But he needs it, I think, more than Cruz.
The Benetton ad, as Nikki Haley said. JD, we talked to Jeb Bush yesterday. He seemed upbeat as he could be. Do you think he survives past tonight? What's your prediction?
Well, I think he'll have the money to survive. The question becomes, who does he align with? Because, again, understand that the Bush family has had a very different take on illegal immigration, both of the previous presidents Bush and now this candidate Bush. And so the question becomes, if he finishes lower than third, despite the animus that exists now between his one-time protege, Marco Rubio, and the former governor, will he in fact move to anoint Marco Rubio as the establishment alternative? That's a possibility, but let's again issue the caveat. Who showed up today, who voted, and why? When the polls close here in just a few short minutes, less than 15 minutes, we'll start to get those answers.
All right, Steve, as we take a look at John Kasich, he's already talking about plans to move past South Carolina to Michigan and Massachusetts. What do you think his endgame is?
I think his endgame should be to be prepared to go home. Again,
you think he's making a play for vice president?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's exactly it. He's running for vice president, Steve. He won't say that, but he can go anywhere with a bus ticket and a PA system. And being from Ohio, and given its crucial electoral vote total and the fact that no Republican has won the presidency without Ohio, it seems to me that my old House colleague in his heart of hearts, hopes to get the number 2 slot.
I'm guessing, Steve, though, John
I
Kasich
think-
as a VP pick doesn't send any chills down your leg.
No, I think if it's Trump, 2 white guys aren't going to fly. He's definitely going to pick a woman, and probably a minority woman. And, look, he got the endorsement of the New York Times. He's very, hey, the Supreme Court ruled on gay marriage. We got to accept it. I mean, he's going to turn off a lot of conservative voters in the conservative base, and I just don't think he has a shot.
All right, you mentioned a minority female to be Trump's vice presidential pick. Fill in the blank for us, Steve. Who do you think it could be?
It could be Nikki Haley. It could be Suzanne Martinez in New Mexico. I'm sure there are other qualified women out there as well. Especially if Hillary's the nominee, I think that that's what he's pushing for, and that's what he'll eventually go for.
All right, well, stay tuned, gentlemen. We'll hear plenty more from you guys coming up here throughout the evening until we get those final results from South Carolina. Pleasure speaking with both of you.